5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Liftoff, and the clock has started.
Kevin Bailey, 46, Butternut.
Brandon Brown, 44, guardrail. 37,
Flemings. Henry Richard, 57, high heels.
High heels, respect.
Coming down 69, switch hitter.
Switch hitter, respect.
Let's go to 43, Brick.
Rick.
6, Rooney.
Rooney, respect.
David Smelser, 42, Christopher.
Christopher.
Will Smelser, 10, Cheetah Boy.
Cheetah Boy.
Brown, 16, median.
Median.
Jason Shores, 43, Honeydew.
Honeydew.
Ryan Andreessen, 40, Windex.
Windex.
David 33, Five Blocks.
Blindside.
1 Windows, 31, Lamper.
Lamper.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Well, welcome back to this week's edition of the weekly launch point. And we are excited to be back. I am Steam, Comms Q for F3 Knoxville, and we have the man, the myth, the legend, our first FQ on-star with us, and we have a great show for you. A lot to cover, a lot of good things happening around our region that have happened in the past week, past weekend, and even as we get into the next and really last months of 2023, we have some cool stuff coming down the pike.
Yes, we do. Indeed, we do.
And speaking of cool things coming down the pike, welcome back to Blindside, the regional Ruck Q. Welcome back to the show, bro.
What's up, guys? How's everybody doing? I think I've thought about it tonight. I think it's been almost a month since I've been here with our week off for Labor Day and then Mammon stuff getting in the way. But yeah, I'm back.
It's awesome to have you back, my man. You
Yes.
have been missed.
You have.
Good to be here. You all have torn it up the last couple of weeks. I've been a happy listener, downloader, subscriber, liker
All
the
right.
last couple of weeks. So y'all have been killing it.
Hey, thank you. That's good feedback. Speaking of feedback, go ahead and leave that 5-star review wherever you listen to your podcasts. Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We'd love you to be like Blindside and give us a full 5-star rating.
Over and over again. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe.
That's right. Well, hey, we have a great show, a lot to cover tonight. It's going to be a more compact weekly launch point, but it's going to be great. It's going to be great. So, OnStar, you want to take us into T-Claps? We got some cool things going on around our region from this past week and weekend, and we got some guys to celebrate.
Oh, of course, my man. So, first of all, T-Claps to the AOQ of a new AO, Slumber Yard, and that's none other than Wingman, and very fitting. They're launching it around the Roane County region, which right now is still part of F3 Knoxville, but soon enough, if everything goes well, they'll be starfishing and becoming their very own region. So T-Collabs to Wingman for launching that and moving ahead. These guys out there have been doing awesome. I can't speak well enough for them, man. They've been crushing it.
Yeah, and they have some cool things happening, and F3 Roco is launching and spreading like wildfire, and they're gonna have an official launch later this year, which will be really cool. But they're already hitting the ground running and doing some really neat things. So it's cool to see that from afar.
Yep.
For now.
So for now we have Wingman as the AOQ of Slumber Yard at Harriman Riverfront Park, and they meet on every Tuesday at 5:30 a.m. So new AO for if you're down in that area, go check it out. Go support these guys.
That's right. Doing some cool things. Some very cool things.
We also have a very specialty collapse to all the men who crushed week 3 of the Iron Packs Challenge. We just have one more week to go. If you want to see the regional ranking, we have posted it on the Iron Packs channel. Kickflip has been crunching the numbers with me double checking and posting them there, so you guys can check it out. So far, it's a very tight race between Catgut and let me double check who's tied with Catgut for the first place right now. It's Catgut and Gmail are leading the contest for Knoxville Man of Iron. So there's still chance to get up. Dark Gun and Magic Mike and Noodles are up there. They have a good chance of getting up. Kickflip himself is not that far in the rank, and he could still come after them. So there's still time to try and overtake these guys. But we're coming into the last week of the IPC, and I want to see you guys keep crushing it. But T-claps to everyone who's been participating so far.
I've not been one of them, but to all you guys that are, keep killing it. You are crushing it out there.
Well,
yeah, I know that we talked about that when it was starting, about the last time I was on, but over at the Equalizer, we've been doing the modified version every week, and it's really been good because there's a little less pressure. We modify they put the official modifications out. We do those, but also like if it's for time or the workout takes longer than 45 minutes, like some of these have. There's no rush to it. We're still able to warm up, get the coupons and CMUs ready, and it really it's been nice to do that aspect of it and still be connected to Iron Packs, but also not being super crazy about it and making sure that we're there early or staying late or anything like that. It's been really nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And you might not have been doing the Iron Packs, Steam, but this week we have triple T-claps for you because this past weekend we had the Forge experience, our first regional retreat, and man, you were the guy who put so much energy into this. You put so much work. You brought us together, and dude, you crushed it. I think the guys went. I hope they enjoyed it. From the feedback I've gathered from them so far, they did. So triple T-claps for you, man. Double T-claps for the guys who organized with you and I, with Brick, Dunk Beetle. And man, T-claps to all the guys who joined us there. Brick, Lazy Boy, Duracell, Dark Gun, Skewer, Tenderfoot, Noodles, Crisper, Enos, Skeletor, Tried Out, Abacus, and Mathlete. Man, it was an honor and a privilege to spend the weekend with these guys, with all of you. And it was really invigorating and a chance to learn, to share, and to grow together. So
yeah, it's been really cool to see that you guys coming off it, and I unfortunately wasn't able to make it because of the we took all the kids to the UT football game, and we can get to do that once a year. But I really hope this is something that we want to continue doing and do it next year, because you can tell just in Slack today that there were some fired up packs. I think some people signed up for some queues that haven't queued in a while. I think that there's going to be,
good.
Just some real takeaways from it that excited to hear more and more about it.
Yeah, man, that's so good to hear too. And if you were at Forge this weekend on Sunday, I shared this I basically just kind of closed out the weekend with Brick and OnStar and Dung Beetle and just shared. There's a lot of guys that have said, "Hey man, great work! Thank you so much for putting this together," and said all these T-claps and things like that. And I received that. Like, thank you for saying that. But at the end of the day, man, I really do believe this was just spirit led. Like there was nothing organic that I just like came up with this one day. I was like, oh, this would be a cool idea. Let's try this. This has been really spirit led from the beginning through conversations with F3 guys, really for the past 3 or 4 years, but more seriously for the past year and a half or two. And so, man, thank you guys for saying that. And we are getting some great feedback from guys. We've already gotten some, like y'all have mentioned, but I cannot take credit for all of this. I mean, OnStar, you have been like 2 feet in as soon as I was like, hey, man, you want to be a part of this? And maybe add some insight and wisdom, and Dung Beetle and Brick and Kickflip, so much behind the scenes that guys know and don't know. Ocho, our third FQ, so many guys that are not seen that have helped out and supported this. But man, it really is and has been spirit led from day one, and it's been a gift to me personally, but also hopefully a gift to all the guys that were there this weekend. And they invested their time, energy, and resources away from their families, away from their AOs this weekend to go and do this thing that men don't do a lot, which is engage in really purposeful ways with other men outside of a typical 45-minute workout or 60-minute workout to sharpen and strengthen their fitness, their fellowship, and their faith together. So, we've already gotten the call for like, hey, next year, let's talk. Let's figure out when we can do this next year. So I think this hopefully will be something that will continue to serve F3 men and F3 Knoxville, obviously, but also F3 men around our region of East Tennessee and maybe beyond. We had 4 F3 regions represented this year at Forge. So F3 Knoxville, F3 Smokies, F3 Morristown, and F3 Roco as well. And so just think about those demographics for a second. But, I don't want to take up too much time talking about Forge, OnStar, and Blindside. I think we're probably going to have Brick, Dung Beetle, OnStar, myself, maybe on the show sometime in the near future, just to go deeper into Forge and really capture some of the who, the what, the when, and the why in more detail, as well as some of the guys that were there. I think that'd be a great episode to have. But for now, we are working on a more detailed backblast, a larger backblast for the whole region that we're going to put out. It'll be on our f3knoxville.com website, even for those guys that are not in F3 Knoxville, that just want to see, hey, what happened this weekend? Why does this matter? Why is this important to men and their lives? So we're going to be putting out some information about that, and you'll hear more from us as we get into the rest of this year and into next year. So, just want to say thank you to all the guys that made it possible, but also to the men that just showed up. And I don't just mean physically, I mean mentally, spiritually, emotionally. It really blessed me and blessed my life too. So it was a real privilege for me.
100%. The guys who are there literally showed up in every way possible. And just to close it out, one thing I want everyone in the region to know. You mentioned about Kickflip helping in the background.
Yeah.
I just want to make it clear to everyone who's listening. Kickflip is always in the background, man. Whatever is happening in the region, he's helping out. He's supporting. I don't know how he does it, but he's everywhere at once. I think he has clones or twins or something, but I don't know. Just a conspiracy theory out there.
Yeah, man. I mean, he was like, "Hey, I'm signed up. Can't wait to go." And then something happened where scheduling conflicts happened, so he couldn't go. But was still like, "Man, I'm here to support this. Like, super pumped for you and for this team." So, dude, he is living out the F3 mission to the minute behind the scenes in ways guys may never know, but are definitely impacted by. So shout out to you, man. Well, good stuff. So that's some of the T-claps that we have from this past week and weekend. And we've said this before on the show. If you are at an AO and you have someone that has done something really cool, really impactful, that has aligned with F3's mission, and you want to shout them out, let us know. Shoot any one of us a DM on Slack, OnStar, Blindside, or Steam. We'd love to call them out on the podcast, make sure they get the T-claps they deserve. You can also send Kickflip a DM on Slack if you're on the F3 Knoxville Slack workspace. And we'd love to be able to celebrate some of the cool and awesome things y'all are doing around F3 Knoxville. So very cool. Well, we got some cool dates coming up as we head into the rest of the year. And OnStar, I know you mentioned Iron PAX Week 4. The final week is coming this week, and there are details in the newsletter that go over all of that. But we have actually a few different things that are happening in terms of leadership around our AOs, specifically with the Shamrock and Rampart AO. So tell us what's going on at some of our AOs as we are going to see some new faces in different roles.
Heck yeah, we have a couple of show flag handoffs happening throughout the week. We're going to have Betty on Friday handing off the shovel flag from Shamrock to Slappy.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a very good reason for that. That's going to come right next to it. Just give me a second and I'll get there. Spoiler alert. I've hinted at it in the past podcast, but now we have the full reveal. We have another shovel flag handoff at the Rampart on Saturday, where Skeletor will be handing the flag off to Feeney, and just in the process of creating the Roku region. Skeletor's done an awesome job at Rampart, and I have no question that Feeney is gonna be awesome in this role.
Mm-hmm.
And we have coming up an off the books reconnaissance workout at Carnes on October 4th at 5:30 a.m. at the Grace Christian Church in Carnes. And here's the thing. This is potentially a new AO in this region, led by none other than Betty. So Betty's trying to get this new AO started. This is one of the reasons why he's handing off the flag at Shamrock to try and start this new AO. And I'm definitely going to be there. I've already given my hard commit. So I'm excited to see this coming along.
Yeah, dude, it's awesome to see this happening.
Yeah, and it's something that Betty has been talking about. I've heard him talk about since he took over at Shamrock. Just on a couple of different rucks that we've done. I think it's early back as maybe our convergence last summer at JUCO. Maybe I heard him talking about it just because I know he's in that area at, near Grace in the Carnes area, and so he doesn't drive too far, but it's enough to where, hey, let's check out this area to see if there's more guys that can be served over here. Because I mean, if you know, one of the things that I know we've talked about is finding a history of F3 Knoxville, but knowing that Shamrock split from JUCO because JUCO was getting large, and then now Shamrock has been massive numbers almost constantly. I can't remember a day they weren't in the double digits on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday workout, but then also looking at 15 plus for a while now. So I think this is a great thing just to kind of show how they've grown and been on fire, getting new guys out there, getting them to stay. One of their newest guys lives closer to the Equalizer. Don't have any hard feelings about that, but good for them.
Yeah, it is one of those things that's like, oh man, like kind of it's going to be forcing some guys out of their comfort zone, because I mean, this is me too. Like, you get comfortable in an AO and it gets bigger and bigger, which is, hey, not a bad thing. But then I have to be reminded of, the mission of F3 is, we're planting, growing, and serving small workout groups for men. And so sometimes I have to get out of my comfortability and realize, hey, there's some guys maybe 15 minutes down the road or 20 minutes down the road that need F3 just as much as I do. And there's some guys that we need to send 15 minutes down the road to carry the mission of F3. And so, man, I'm so excited for Betty, though. I mean, I've been influenced by him and his leadership over the years, and he's been a great leader to look up to, and he has a great vision for this new area, and I'm excited to be there and see the growth that happens in the ripple effects. So it's cool to see these guys step up in these leadership positions, and then just give it away. They're able to give it away and continue planting the next 43 feet for the men behind them. So also T-claps to Slappy for stepping up, man. He's going to do some great things out of the Shamrock.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
And same for Skeletor and Feeney too. I mean, on Star, we get to talk to Skeletor quite a bit this weekend, and and he has a great vision for planting, growing, and serving F3 workouts and shovel flags out there near Kingston and surrounding areas. And Feeney is going to do an excellent job of stepping into that leadership role. So very, very cool. Speaking of things that are coming up that are new, we have a birthday coming up, and as a region, and OnStar, you're kind of taking the helm on a lot of this event that we would call Bro Olympics, as we turn 8 years old this year. So, what can guys expect as we get closer to our birthday here in November?
Well, right now, they can expect me to need their help because we're just starting out planning this thing. We have already a few guys helping me out. I have Mermaid, Lily, Bele, who have already volunteered to help out. Kickflip as usual, because again, kickflip is everywhere.
Of course.
But we do need a few roles. Bro Olympics is going to happen on November 4th. We're still determining the location, but we do need an event queue that is someone who is going to make sure that all the equipment we need is there, is set up, and is properly returned to their owners afterwards. So we might use benches, we might use CMUs, we might use sandbags. There's a ton of cool stuff we might use. We need it to be set up correctly, set up properly in different event areas, but we also need it to get back to their owners, to whoever volunteers to help out. We need a data queue, someone to prepare the spreadsheet or in links and QR codes so people can sign up and register the score for the events. If you participate,
All right. I volunteer as tribute.
Awesome.
I love a good spreadsheet. I saw that come up, and I knew that you would probably need somebody like
Twist
that. So,
your arm,
I will
blindside.
go ahead and do that. Just let me know what you need, and it'll be good.
I'll let you know. We need some media cues. We need people to take photos and videos. I'm looking at Cornhole and Medium because they have been doing an awesome job in events.
Yes.
But hey, if you want to volunteer to walk around, take pictures, video, you don't need a super professional equipment or camera. Even if you have a good phone and a good eye and you just want to hang out and take pictures, let me know. You'll be more than welcome to help.
Yeah, let me jump in there too, because Cornhole and Median, if you don't know about these guys, are like actual photographers, where, I have a phone that has a camera on it. I'm like, yeah, I could do this. And so last year, rolling around with the camera, with my phone, trying to take pictures, the whole, you don't have to be I'm not a professional thing, definitely applies. But Cornhole and Median are probably as close to professional photographers as we have in F3 Knoxville. So no pressure, but man, they take some great pics. They do. And so if you want to help on that, yeah, there's really no hardcore science behind it. We're just looking to capture moments, capture the experience. So
exactly.
Trust me, from someone that is about as ill-equipped to take photos with his phone, yours truly, you can definitely do this. If you are interested, shoot me a message in Slack and we'll get.
Awesome. And we also need a volunteer queue that will coordinate volunteers in general, anyone who wants to help, and specific event volunteers, because we're going to have some timed events, some events where we're going to need some help setting up. If you want to be there, maybe you don't want to compete, but you want to be there, you want to hang out and want to be a part of the event, man, that's great. Maybe you don't want to compete for whatever reason. You can be there timing people or helping people enter the data on their sheets and so on. So if you're interested in helping out, please reach out to me. If you have any suggestions, if you think, hey, I got an idea for a cool event, reach out, because we're going to need help to make this be a very special event and to celebrate the birthday of F3 Knoxville.
Absolutely. And it's a great event. It really is. You get to see guys from different AOs that you may never see more than once or twice a month, or even maybe once or twice a year. I don't know. But it's also cool to celebrate and zoom out to see 8 years of F3 Knoxville. What does that look like? And it's just a really cool time for us all to get together as a region, as many of us as possible. The faces that are older, the faces that are newer, the guys that have just showed up to do their first workout maybe. We've historically had quite a few F&Gs at this event, which is cool for them to see that too. So do not miss it. Do not miss it. This would be one event throughout the year, I would say. Always put on your calendar and make the HC.
Yep, it was my first F3 regional event that I attended before attending the Bro Olympics last year. All I did was post that big ball on Saturday. No kidding. I told you this before, Steve, and I told this to the guys at Forge. The Bro Olympics is what inspired me to do more for the region. It's what led me to walk up to kickflip as soon as the event ended and be like, hey, how can I help the region? How can I serve the man of Knoxville? So it's that awesome of an event.
All right.
That's great. That's awesome.
Absolutely.
It usually fires up guys too. Events like that usually fire up guys for to get back into it or to do what you did on Star and ask for a leadership role or what can I do small or it gets people queuing. I started my first queue. I signed up for my first queue after not an event like this, but after a shovel flag handover, and we know that usually those get a lot of guys out there. And seeing a shovel flag handover, 30 some guys there, that's what kind of inspired me to first take that plunge to VQ for the first time, and then the rest, as they say, is history.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, that's perfect. I mean, have you ever heard 60 plus guys counting off side shuttle hops on a 4 count? I mean, that'll make you ready to run through a brick wall.
Correct.
It'll be awesome. Cool, man. Excited for this event. Really, really pumped to think of F3 has been in Knoxville for 8 years and to do a really cool event like this too. So, well, with the last few minutes of our time on this week's weekly lunch point, we're going to talk leadership. We're going to talk from the Q-Source content this week. This is a great topic to bring up in your shield locks this week at your AOs this week, within the COT this week, at the cafeteria this week for you. And this week we're looking at unchanging in nature, standard or effect over time. So I'm going to, from 90,000 foot view, like we do, I'm going to introduce the three main points or three main subheadings of this content. You can find it in the weekly email that Kickflip sends out, and we will, like always, put the link in the show notes so you can check this out, read it for yourself. But unchanging in nature, standard or effect over time. Number 1, simplicity is the foundation of consistency. Number 2, strong routines are the framework of consistency. And then number 3, the virtuous leader focuses on bandwidth, not perfection. What do you got? What are your thoughts, initial gut reactions to this week's Q-Source content?
Yes. All those things.
Yes to all of it.
All those things. So, you got my stamp of approval. Consistency is one thing that I've struggled with all of my, late adolescent and adult life. And one thing that I found was the routine aspect of it. If it's something you do every day, if it's something you do every week, if it's something you do every month, it becomes a routine. It becomes second nature. And for me, working in the schools, the summers are nice and relaxing and awesome and fine, but the lack of routine really gets to me. So I usually try to find a routine in the summer so that I can, live that life for, the 8 weeks that I have off. Because if I don't, it's just going to get bad. It's going to get lazy. It's going to get, unproductive. I remember one of the first things that we did, my poor 5 children are some of the most unlucky children during the lockdown when they had 2 teachers stuck at home with them without anybody to teach. We had a schedule, we had a routine, we had everything set up for them, and that helped me just as much, if not more, than them. And it's one of those things that you just know what you're going to do next, and you can continue to do the right thing.
Man, I couldn't agree more. Basically, the only way I managed to be productive and do a bunch of things in my life is by simplifying as much as I can and following a routine as much as I can. For example, to make it easier to follow, a consistent diet. I mostly have the same breakfast or very similar breakfast every day. I have certain patterns that are really built into my routine to make certain other things easier. Especially now, new job, baby, everything going on. If I don't set myself up with certain things to be kind of a guardrail to my day, I'm going to get lost, and I'm not going to be able to be consistent. I'm not going to be able to be productive. I'm just going to spiral out.
Well, that's a good word too. And I mean, I overcomplicate it a lot of times, like the consistency portion of it, where I will textbook overthinker over here. So I will textbook overthink it, and really take out the simplicity part. And then it's just like a domino effect. You know, one thing affects the other. They're all related to somehow. And and so thinking about just the simplicity of a routine, even if it's something like just making your bed in the morning. I mean, I know that sounds kind of like, okay. But making your bed in the morning, or finding those routines that work for you, that are simple, that make sense for you, because chances are that the routines that, say, I have aren't going to make sense for Blindside or OnStar to some degree, just because we're different people. We have different schedules, you know, and we're wired and created different. So I think for me, you know, if I can really focus on not overcomplicating it, just focus on the simplicity of it, and then sticking to it, and that is a win for me. And I'll have a off the books T-Claps. I guess technically it's on the books, but this was not part of our T-Claps. A off the books, on the books T-Claps for a guy named Mr. Jinxie. He is a guy that used to come out to the Asylum PM. He's been injured and has been doing a lot of stuff. So miss you, bro. But where I see this as a great example is his consistency at F3 workouts is as simple as just doing the right form on a Merkin, or doing the right form on a squat. You know, he may not be the fastest. He may not finish his squats or reps before everyone else, but man, like, he is consistent on his form. And that seems like a really simple thing to do, like go all the way down on the squat, or make sure you have good form on a Merkin, or whatever you're doing. But that just popped in my head as a really simplistic way to keep the standard and make it consistent.
Yeah. And don't worry about it, Sim, because like I can be a big overthinker too with stuff, especially when I'm excited about a new idea or a new habit or something.
Oh yeah.
I want to start doing it with, like, 2 feet in, as you said, and then I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna start, I don't know, a new prayer routine. So, I'm gonna do this, and from this time to this time I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna read my Bible, and then I'm gonna study this, and I like create a 10-step plan that obviously is not gonna be implemented, because it's very difficult to be consistent if you're starting out with a super complex plan. So start with the simple things first. Start step by step.
That's right.
So I couldn't agree more with that simplicity is the foundation of consistency. Like, that phrase says everything.
Yeah. There's a great acronym in here: KISS. Keep it simple, stupid.
Yep.
But man, we're gonna put a positive spin on it. Keep it simple, superstar.
There you go.
Heard that on a Netflix show the other day. I was like, oh, that makes more sense. Yeah, I'll use that one.
Yeah, I know. I can't believe there's been so many times I've had a diet ready to go. I've had a prayer routine, like OnStar said, ready to go, and a fitness regime ready to go. And none of it has ever worked if it wasn't completely simple.
Yep.
I mean, like, I could have all the time in the world. I could have all of the motivation in the world. But if it's not simple, it's not lasting longer than a week. It's not lasting very long at all. It's not something that you can maintain. And then over time, you can actually, you can add stuff to it. But I know, I don't know about you guys, but I usually want to, like, jump right in, and I want to go from 0 to 60 immediately. It's something I always try to do, and I think this is gonna be different. I never can. As long as it is simple, it can continue.
Yeah.
But no.
Yeah, that's right. And there's a great quote I've heard before. It goes, "Custom cost more." You know, like so the customization you put on your routines or your consistency, it's going to cost more than others, right? Because it's you. So tailor it to you. Tailor your customization and simplicity and consistency to you. What works well for you. And maybe it's just showing up to a workout twice a week or once a week. Just making that hard commit. Something small like that. I would also invite you, if you're listening to this, to bring others into the fold for some accountability with this too, or even say, hey, let's work on this thing together. You're going to see some cool new challenges happening as we get into the rest of the year with F3 Knoxville, and it's going to be built on that consistency and that foundation of maintaining the standard, if you will. So it's going to be great. It's going to be great. Well, gentlemen, as we head into the rest of the week, and before we know it, it's going to be October. Any final closing thoughts from y'all this evening before we launch into workouts, work stuff, family stuff, and go attack the rest of the week?
Just be consistent by being simple. That's just a great mantra there.
Yep.
Don't try to do it all at once.
Exactly. Start with the simplest step you can to something. You want to be consistent with F3. Don't decide to go from like going 2 or 3 times a month to, hey, I'm going to post 5 times a week now. Make a plan to be consistent 1 day a week at first. Get there, make that work, and then go from there. But start easy. I know when you're excited, it's easy to want to do everything, to jump in, to start running, to go all gas, no brakes. But go take it easy. Start step by step. Then you can pick up speed and keep it going.
That's true. Hey, all gas, no brakes sounds good, but eventually we all run out of gas. We're going to need those brakes.
There you go.
Yeah, sir.
Man, thank you guys for hopping on. Great to see y'all and connect with y'all and just talk about our week. Let's go out there and attack the week. Make those HCs, get to those workouts, tag about a buddy you haven't seen in a while. Let's go and grow together. Let's sharpen some iron this week.
Let's go.
All right, let's go, you guys.
See you in the gloom.
See you in the gloom.
Bye.